Hey everybody, CrackBerry Kevin here, and it is time to review the phone that brought me out of retirement and put a BlackBerry in my hand again. This is CrackBerry's BlackBerry KEYone review.
CrackBerry.com.
So should you buy a BlackBerry KEYone? Obviously my answer is yes. Look, if you are a current BlackBerry user, if you are a former BlackBerry user who loves a physical keyboard on the phone, this is the phone for you. This is it. A, you have no other options, but B, it's a fantastic device. First things first, the KEYone runs Android. So this is not BlackBerry OS of old. This is not BlackBerry 10 of current/old. This is BlackBerry gone Android. They've secured the heck out of it, so it's a secure phone, no worries there. It's giving you all the apps you want. For the last couple of years, if I wanted to be a BlackBerry user, I had to use this, with this, with this. I was a two-phone person, but since getting the KEYone, I am back to being a BlackBerry user and not needing any other phone. So now let me give you some reasons of why I think you should buy it. It's a BlackBerry through and through. So if you look at the hardware here, this is a premium device, and it's got that feel in the hand that you expect from a BlackBerry. You know, sometimes I find other phones on the market, they look nice, but you pick them up and they just feel cold and they feel slippery. And you pick up the KEYone and, you know, the soft touch rubber back just immediately sticks in your hand. The phone has a density to it that is heavy but not heavy. I think they say it's 180 grams. It feels proper, right? It's like a nice mechanical watch. It's got heft to it without being heavy. It just feels quality. Metal frame around the phone, buttons on the side, programmable convenience key. Everything about it screams premium. Now, if you're expecting me to say that the killer feature of the KEYone is the keyboard, which you might expect since the key is in the name, I'm gonna actually say no, okay? The keyboard's great, we're gonna talk about that next. The killer feature of this phone is the freaking battery life. The battery life on the KEYone is amazing, and I don't even know how to describe it. It's like it's become a game trying to kill the phone. Everybody I know who's used the KEYone for any amount of time says the same thing. If you check out other reviews, they're all gonna say the same thing. Everybody's gonna confess their love for the KEYone's battery life. And it is a fundamental difference in how you use a phone, because I think all of us, we start to like subconsciously throttle back what we do with our phones during the day because we don't want to get stuck with a dead battery. With a KEYone, the battery life's always good. And once you realize how good it is, you just start using your phone all day long. Like screen time, 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever, it doesn't matter. Or I'm roaming in places like New York or Barcelona and I'm getting up at 6 a.m., going to bed at 2 a.m. and I still have 40% battery life. And I've used the phone all day, you know, Google Maps galore, that kind of thing. The realization is, it doesn't matter how fancy your phones can be in commercials. If the battery dies, any of these phones on the table, it's just a paperweight. BlackBerry very intentionally set out to design a phone that would give the users amazing battery life. So how'd they do that? One, the battery itself is big. It has a 3,505 milliamp hour battery in it, which is the biggest ever put in a BlackBerry. It's one of the biggest you'll see on pretty much any smartphone. It's a big ass battery. You know, number two, they picked the Snapdragon 625 chipset series from Qualcomm, and it's known as being a very energy efficient chipset that's gonna run the phone smoothly, quick, but it's gonna really maximize battery life. And also the screen size. You know, it's a little bit smaller screen compared to your big full screen, you know, giant size touchscreen slab. So when you put that all together, you have the perfect storm of killer battery life. And I love it. I hope BlackBerry, with future phones they produce, they just never sacrifice battery life. I love the battery life. Did you get that? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Battery life, killer feature beyond anything on the KEYone. So coming back to the keyboard. Physical keyboard, obviously some people are currently on physical keyboards. You're gonna pick this up and it's gonna take you a half a day and you'll be rocking your thumbs out on it. For myself, I came back to the KEYone here and the physical keyboard after like probably 3 years of being on nothing but touchscreens. So I'd say it took me 2 days to get used to typing on the KEYone again. From there, it probably took me another 2 days to like really fall in love with the keyboard again. One of the things that makes the keyboard super cool is that it's touch capacitive. You can actually swipe on it. So if I'm on the home screen, I want to go right, left, or I go into an app like CrackBerry and I want to scroll through a long list of stories, which helps keep smudges off the touch screen, which is not a bad thing. It also means too, you can actually swipe up on the keyboard while you're typing words. So if you have auto suggest telling you what to type, instead of pushing those buttons, you can just casually swipe on them. It's pretty cool. I also love that the keyboard has a fingerprint sensor built into it. So if you want to unlock your phone, you can do it off the spacebar, which is awesome, magic. I mean, they called it the KEYone. This phone is about the keyboard. And the good news is the keyboard is awesome. It's one of my probably top 2, top 3 favorite BlackBerry keyboards of all time for typing comfort. And the technology in it just takes it to the next level. Keyboard on steroids. The camera. Another feature I love about the KEYone, it's got a really great camera. Blackberries have never been really known for having great cameras. They put a fantastic sensor into this. So if I go like this, that's Mel, say hi Mel. Or if I want to do selfies, oh my hair is horrible, I gotta fix that. Wow, that selfie was even worse. You won't be disappointed. Low light, pretty decent. Outdoors, fantastic. Video, fantastic. 12 megapixel camera on the back, 8 on the front shooter. It's great cameras on a BlackBerry, which makes it a great device for work, for play. I like being able to say in a BlackBerry review that the camera's really good. I don't think I've ever said that before. Have I ever said that before? I don't think I've ever said that in a BlackBerry review before. If I did say it, I was probably lying. Maybe leave that out. No, put it in. So one of the things I love about the KEYone is that it runs Android, because running Android, I finally have a no compromise BlackBerry. I run a lot of apps. I like apps. I use them for work. I use them for play. I use them for socializing and all those things. And as much as I love BlackBerry 10, as much as I love BlackBerry OS, the apps didn't show up. And as a smartphone user, as a human being on planet Earth who wants the best tech, that meant being a BlackBerry owner required me to carry a second device. With the KEYone, Android, it's secure, it's running Nougat, it's really smooth. I feel like Android has finally matured to a spot where you can just pick it up and start using it. And I love the flexibility of Android. You know, the thing about it is if you want to put in the time, you can tweak the heck out of whatever you want to do on the device. So for example, for me, and this might sound crazy, I'm not a huge fan of the BlackBerry Hub. I don't want the hub, I remove the hub. I don't want another feature, I remove that feature. I want something else, I add it in. That's an awesome piece of Android that I think everybody can appreciate. So I just told you a few of the things I love about the KEYone. I think overall, great experience. I've been super happy with it, but it's a review. You're probably thinking like, Kevin, you can't just highlight the good things, you gotta tell me some of the bad things too. So the good thing is, I don't think there's anything bad about the KEYone. There's no real showstoppers. There's been not once where I've been like, I'm done with this thing, I'm going back to what I was using before. So that's great. But you know me, I'm always looking ahead. I'm always thinking about the next phone or how you can change something and make it better. So I do have my list of a few things I would tweak up on, call it the Key 2 or call it a KEYone Pro version. So you can keep them in mind. I don't think they stop anybody from buying this phone, but just so you have my list of things I'd love to see tweaked. So memory, this comes with 32 gigs of internal storage. And it has a micro SD card slot in the same tray as the SIM card where you can throw in a micro SD card. Up to 2 terabytes. I don't think I've ever seen or held a 2 terabyte card. I've never actually looked up what they cost. They probably cost as much as the phone. So you can put in external memory, but for me, I'm one of those guys where I'm like, take my money. So if they sold just another version with more memory, I wouldn't complain. RAM. So it comes with 3 gigs of RAM, which is pretty good. I think on the 625 processor, it runs the phone quick. Never really feels laggy to me. There's occasional moments where I'm like, yeah, you know, a little bit more speed would be okay, whether that's the chipset or an extra gig of RAM. But I think that's one of those things where I'm like, look, I would gladly pay for a 4th gig of RAM. So if it had it, I would take it, no problem. BlackBerry very intentionally picked the specs they wanted in this phone. They didn't just go, give us the best thing at any cost and we'll do it. We'll cram it into this device. They said, we want to build something with great battery life. And because of that, they went the 625 chipset. If they put in an 800 series, would it be quicker? Maybe, but then you might lose that battery life. And I think they've picked the right compromises in the good sense of the word for the KEYone. So I don't know. I think obviously I always want more speed. So whether that comes from software optimizations, whether that comes from an even faster processor, I'm like, I'll take them. I just don't want to lose the battery life because honestly, oh, there's so much battery. So much battery. So the screen size, I actually love it. And I think that's what I find really interesting is, so we went through years of like every BlackBerry almost being that perfect design. With the KEYone, I'm like, this is kind of the perfect design we always dreamed about. You know, big screen, still have the physical keyboard, it's there. So in my head, when I think about, you know, what would a Key 2 look like? I don't think I would change it. You know, not once have I used the phone and thought, oh, I wish the screen was bigger. Like the screen is big. I think one thing I'd see tweaked would be maybe a switch to OLED. This does have an LCD display. Fantastic. It's high resolution, lots of pixel density to it. But I always love OLED screens. It would probably just look really cool on the KEYone. So maybe an OLED screen. OLED is known for good battery life too, so might even further improve battery life. Now, this one's a little tricky one. Wireless charging. Doesn't have it. Doesn't need it. Not once have I tapped to charge the phone during the day. It's kind of interesting because the KEYone has Quick Charge 3 on it. And when you plug it in, it enables boost mode, so you can charge the phone, I think, from 0 to 50% in like 36 minutes, which is great. The reality is, I've never had to use it. So, you know, if you want to throw more specs or requests on the list, I'm like, it's cool to have wireless charging. Doesn't actually need it though. Let's not count that as a negative, but it's a thing to put on. I feel like I need to give you guys something. I can't just be like, buy. It's amazing. Camera, really like it, as I said, and I'm super happy. So now that I'm super happy with it, I'll be just a little picky. And one of the things I'd love to see would be even better stabilization in video mode. You know, one phone in particular, the Google Pixel, has really insanely good stabilization while video recording, and it's all done by the software. I know the sensor in this is basically the same. It's pretty stable, the camera, but it's not as stable as that. So I'm like, I'll put that on the request list too, is just even further improving it. Not bad, but I need to give you something. And last but not least, I think this one's a no-brainer, even more colors. I actually love the color scheme they went with on the KEYone. I think it's just the black, silver, it's very pro, looks good. It gets a lot of attention when I take it out in public. People are like, what's this phone? And it just looks expensive and rich, but I love options. I love colors. You know, here's a blue BlackBerry. I've always loved white BlackBerries. I'd love to see the KEYone in more colors. And I think maybe the one I would go for first would be like pure black, like just black this thing out, matte black all around. And then after that, maybe some other colors, because, you know, guys like me will buy all of the colors. Give me all the colors. I'm like a dragon on my bed of gold. I just want to sleep on a bed of colored KEYones. So I gave you some things I'd like to see, you know, I could see different and I wouldn't complain if they were different. But overall, experience-wise, the KEYone's been a solid phone. I mean, even those little details that matter, you know, speakerphone's been pretty solid, voice quality's good, Bluetooth works well with all my gadgets, whether it's connects to my Tesla really nicely, works with my, you know, Bose headset that's wireless. I haven't had any issues with it, works with Fitbits well, like it's just been very seamless to use. And again, battery life totally steals the show on the KEYone. Just makes it a phone that you love because you have so much confidence that you can just use it all day, no problem, and you just can't kill the frickin' thing. So this has gone on for a while. I know it's a little bit long-winded, but I know that's what you guys like. If you want more, hit up the link in the description on this video. You can jump over to the written complement to this video, my written review, which I've tried to keep concise for once and not 15,000 words like old CrackBerry Kevin. We have lots of fun to be had, so I didn't want to put everything in this video. We will come back with many more videos of the KEYone, deep diving into different features in more detail. And in the meantime, you know, it's a review. The question is, are you buying it? I think the answer is go for it. Yes, absolutely. And what's really cool is the phone's on sale in the UK. We're starting to see user reviews come in already, and it's universally positive. There's a lot of people loving the KEYone. It's fantastic. I love it. It's 2017 and I can say that BlackBerry's got a hit on their hand. Crazy things happen and I love it. That's it for this one. Kevin out.